This is Augustana Sportscene, a weekly update on Viking athletics at South Dakota's largest private college. Enjoy the action and excitement of NCAA Division II athletics at Augustana.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Augustana Sportscene. I'm Bill Gross, Director of Athletics at Augustana College. On this week's show, we'll feature some exciting action as we fire up our Augustana Sports Update. We'll also talk Viking men's basketball with head coach Tom Billiter and women's basketball with coach Dave Krauth. A little later in the program, in our Augustana Sports Focus, we'll talk Augustana baseball with head coach Tim Huber. And we'll take a look at what's ahead on the Augustana sports calendar for this week. It's going to be a good one, so let's get the action rolling. Here comes Augustana Sports Update for this week.
Augustana Sports Update is brought to you by Schoenemann's.
Last Friday night, Coach Jason Reitmeyer's NCAA Division II number 2 ranked Vikings claimed the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference Championship as they rolled over Upper Iowa 29-8 at the Elman Center. Augustana upped their dual meet record to 14-1 overall and 7-0 in the NSIC with the victory. The Vikings got wins by major decision from Nate Herda at 149 pounds and Carl Sirk at 174. At 133 pounds, Jason Jeremiason picked up a 5-1 decision over top-ranked Kyle Pedretti. Other winners were Al Meager at 125, Jay Shear at 141, Marcus Edgington at 157, Gavin Nelson at 165, and Ty Copsey at 197. In men's basketball, Coach Tom Billiter's team came from behind to claim a 78-73 overtime win at Northern State. The Vikings trailed 34-29 at halftime and through much of the second half. But Cameron McCaffrey's twisting layup with 3 seconds left in regulation knotted the score at 70-70. In overtime, Augustana outscored the Wolves 8-3 to grab their 16th win of the season. Cameron McCaffrey and Cody Schilling each scored 26 points to lead the Vikings. Leif Nomeland added 10 points and Derek DeZayal snared a game-high 12 rebounds. Then on Saturday night, Augustana fell to the University of Mary 90-81 in Bismarck, North Dakota. Mary shot 56% from the field as they won their 12th consecutive game and 19th overall. The Vikings fell behind 44-28 at halftime and could not catch up in the second half. Cody Schilling led the way with 34 points and 7 rebounds. Cameron McCaffrey added 19 points and passed out 4 assists. Derek DeZayal was also in double figures with 10 points. In women's basketball, Coach Dave Krauth's team dropped a 67-54 game at Northern State. The Vikings fell behind 47-27 at halftime and shot just 34% for the game. The Augustana ladies were hampered by 19 turnovers in being held to their season low in scoring. Emily Schulte led the Vikings with 12 points, while Molly Hayes dished out 4 assists. Then on Saturday night, the University of Mary rallied from a 13-point second-half deficit to defeat Augustana 99-94 in overtime. The Vikings' loss came despite a school record 19 three-pointers. The difference in the game was at the free throw line as Mary made 39 of 42 free throws, while the Vikings only shot 16, making 11. Molly Hayes scored a career-high 30 points with Megan Doyle and Alex Feeney tallying 18 each and Christy Board adding 12. Board also had 6 rebounds and Hayes 6 assists. In indoor track, Coach Tracy Hellman's teams competed at the Iowa State Classic in Ames. Adu Amat won the 800 with a Division II best time this year of 1:49.51. Runa Falk set a school record in the 5,000-meter run, and Tom Carbo shattered the Vikings' school record in the 3,000. In softball, Coach Greta Melsted's team kicked off their season by winning the Desert Stinger Tournament in Las Vegas. The Vikings went a perfect 5-0 by defeating Montana State Billings, Fort Lewis, Adams State, Western New Mexico, and Chadron State. In tennis, Coach Mark Kurtz's team picked to finish first in the NCAA region in women, got their season rolling with a 9-0 win over Minnesota Crookston. And the Augustana men, also coached by Kurtz, began their season with a 7-2 victory over Buena Vista and followed that up with a 5-4 triumph over the University of Sioux Falls. That's our sports update for this week. When we come back, we'll talk Augustana men's basketball with Coach Tom Billiter. Stay with us.
Augustana Sportscene is brought to you by Sanford Health, improving the human condition, by Schoenemann's, your trusted building center since 1888, and by Mid-Continent Communications, part of your community.
A message from the Better Bundle Bureau. Mid-Continent Communications has the best bundle to beat boredom without busting the budget. With its $99 a month theater DVR trio, people are downright giddy, saving over $500 a year and still being thoroughly entertained. Free HD, on-demand, the fastest broadband speeds known to man, and unlimited local and long-distance calling, all wrapped up in a nice little $99 bundle. The theater DVR trio. It's the best bundle on earth.
At Schoenemann's, our staff's expertise goes far beyond hardware. In fact, we know just how important your home is to you and are committed to making every project a success. So, whether you're just adding some color to your life or adding on for your growing family, Schoenemann's can help. Sure, we know you can pick up nails just about anywhere, but when it's expert advice you need, you'll find it only at Schoenemann's.
You can always do it right with Schoenemann's.
We've gotten on in years. We've got aches. We've got pains. But we haven't gotten old. We've only gotten better. Now we've got the time to play. And we've still got game. Sanford's doctors keep us hitting that sweet spot. Because we've got to give those aches and pains something to complain about.
Get stronger, play smarter. Return to performance. Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
The Augustana Men's Basketball Report is brought to you by Sanford Health.
Joining me now is Augustana men's basketball coach Tom Billiter. Well, Tom, last weekend, the long road trip up to Northern and Aberdeen and then on to Mary. It started out at Northern on Friday night, and a great basketball game. Went to overtime, and the Vikings came away with a huge win.
They're one of the best teams in the country, in my opinion, with that record. They are a very good basketball team. Continue to get better. Paul's doing a good job, and not an easy situation. I mean, you're replacing Bob Olson, who was replaced by Don Meyer. Paul's walked into a tough situation, but he's a Northern State guy, through and through, and got the right bloodlines, and he'll do a great job. But those kids played hard, and he's got his bigs playing well. And I thought two keys were Derek DeZale just did a tremendous job on one of the best young big men in our league on Pryor. Mm-hmm. And I thought, to be honest, we took their best punches. They shot the ball as well as they've shot it all year. They built a 12-point lead. And on Friday night, our guys just didn't have, they just weren't going to die. And Cody and Cam were fabulous. And it was a good win for us on the road.
Yeah, a huge victory for the Vikings. Their 16th of the season. And they went on then to the long trip, did it a little bit different this year, but ended up at Mary on Saturday night.
I recommend it to everyone who makes that trip, that they need to. If you're going to be in your workforce and you have to leave at 11 o'clock at night from Aberdeen to play a game the next day, 250 miles away, I recommend a stop in beautiful Jamestown, North Dakota at the Quality Inn. They did a great job of taking care of us. And we went halfway to Jamestown, actually worked out at the Jamestown Civic Center, home of the North Dakota Hall of Fame, which I had never seen before.
Are you in it?
I am not in it,
okay.
But I was very much infatuated with who was. And it was, as good a day as you can make in a trip like that. But when we got there and started playing, and Mary played very well, and they had a nice crowd. They only put about 1,000 people in there. They listed higher than that, but I don't know how. There's 400 on one side, and there ain't, trust me, 1,400 seats on the other. But they put the people in there. It was a good atmosphere. Mary played very well, and we just didn't have it. Our legs weren't there, and so you just can't. That's the game you use in June and July to get your kids working out and making sure they're running and doing things they're supposed to in order to be able to play in February on a trip like this. And that's what they have to do, because it's what it is. It's for everybody the same way. You can't make excuses, and you need to have your A game ready to go, and we didn't.
Well, Cody's showing a great weekend again with 26 at Northern and then 34 at Mary.
Cody was fabulous against Mary. It's his best game I think he's ever played for us. He was good defensively. He held Wilhelm in check. He rebounded. He made baskets. He was our go-to guy. Cody really played a very good basketball game. I'm not afraid to admit that. I mean, he was fabulous. And carried us and kept us in there. I mean, we ended up losing by 9. And Bill, I can't tell you how many shots we had that were halfway down and out, and that's what happens when you're not just quite on your A game, when you're just not quite there. Those shots just don't seem to go. And Mary shot the heck out of it. They hadn't been shooting it like that for a couple weeks, and our defense had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah, well, Mary's an outstanding team. They won 19 games, so you got to give them credit. Well, Tom, we get a little bit of a rest here. It's our one-game week. It's probably good to have a little time to heal after that tough trip. And on Saturday at 6 o'clock, we take on Wayne State. Yeah, and
Paul's, again, there's another great, that's what, I don't know about other conferences, I can't comment on them, but our league, 1 through 14, is so good this year. The bottom teams have gotten better. And here's a team like Wayne with their record who can beat anybody. I think they beat anybody in the country on a given night. You know, they're well coached, they do crazy things, they match up funny ways, they do everything to you and disrupt your flow. And it's going to be a tough game for us. You know, he's got those kids playing well too, and night in and night out, they're close or win games. And they and Southwest State and Northern, and I can keep going. Those are really good basketball teams, and their records are not indicative of how good of programs those are.
Well, get over to the Elman Center. This is going to be a good one, and the Vikings need your help in trying to get a win against the Wildcats. Tom, as you mentioned, the league is really sound top to bottom, just evidenced by a couple of the wins that happened last weekend, with Upper Iowa knocking off Winona rather handily, and then Southwest beating St. Cloud. So anything can happen.
And Concordia beating Mankato.
Right, Concordia over Mankato.
I mean, it was just a nutty week. It would have been a great week for us to step up, but we didn't get hurt. And Bill, to be honest, going into the trip, if you told me we were going to get a split, I'd have taken it. It's just when you lose that last one, you just feel badly about it. You wish it was the other way around, but it's better when you win on Saturday night. The week seems to go better. But, I'm happy with the split, and we're going to get better as this week goes on. And 3 home games are welcomed right now, because we need, that's something we need, and we need to defend the home court.
All right, well, let's get them on Saturday. Good luck, Tom. The Augustana Women's Basketball Report with Coach Dave Krauth is next.
He has what he needs to make it. He has the speed, thanks to Sanford Power. He has Sanford athletic trainers to help avoid injuries. He has Sanford doctors to help him if they happen. But most important, he loves the game. That's no surprise. He has a lot of me in him.
Get stronger, play smarter, return to performance. Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
White one.
Hurry in and see what everyone is punching about. The Volkswagen Tiguan, the only compact SUV on the road or off that comes with a turbocharged engine standard. And like every Volkswagen, the Tiguan includes scheduled carefree maintenance. Hurry in and get a great deal on the highly capable, very sporty Tiguan compact SUV.
The Augustana Women's Basketball Report is brought to you by Mid-Continent Communications.
With me now is Augustana Women's Basketball coach Dave Krauth. Well, Dave, last weekend the Vikings hit the road, tough road trip. Started out against a very good Northern team, a team you had edged here at the Elman Center earlier, and they played well.
Yeah, well, Northern, I think, was, if focused is the good word, maybe a much more focused team than we were. I was really surprised at what just appeared to be our lack of focus and just not being ready for what our big games, of course, coming down the stretch. And even though we sort of tried to make a little run a few times, I really never thought we were into it, even emotionally or maybe with the score getting to that point. So that was one I wanted to get over from early on.
Yeah, well, the one bright spot in the game, we talked last week about some of your younger players, and Emily Schulte came in and had a nice game.
Yeah, I mean, and we almost had to have some of the kids on the bench play some minutes because really up and down the line with our starting group, let's say, I mean, we just didn't have a ball game in any of them. But Emily gave us some real quality minutes. She's a real hustler, and I mean, if you're looking either towards the end of this year or to the future, I mean, those are quality minutes for her.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, then it was the long ride up to Bismarck to take on the University of Marion. Dave, the Vikings played an outstanding game, set an Augustana school record with 19 three-pointers, had the lead, But my goodness, you can't overcome the deficit in free throws. That it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a frustrating night from that standpoint. We just couldn't. Our kids didn't know what to do to not get called for a foul. I think in some instances, and they made 39 out of 42 free throws, and I give them credit for that. But we also had a couple of critical turnovers on our own at the end of regulation where we probably still could have won the game and didn't get it done. But it was a good bounce back night. I mean, we've had a couple of those. We had a good performance down at Wayne and lost down there. And I was really pleased with our effort level at Mary, but of course there just are no consolation prizes.
No, that's too bad. And Molly Hayes, a career high 30 points, a great game for the Vikings, as did a number of others, but just didn't go our way, unfortunately. Well, Dave, it's home sweet home. We come home last 3 home games of the year, the regular season. They're big ones for the Vikings, and it starts out here. We have the single week this week, and it's an easy one. The conference champion in Wayne State.
Yeah, and they have really earned that. I mean, they win the conference championship, with a couple full weeks to go in the league, and just have had an outstanding year. And for them, I mean, they're of course looking not only for that the conference tournament, which will follow, but of course positioning in the regional tournament. So it'll be a huge game for them too. But I think it's an opportunity for us, and we really have to look at it that way.
Yeah, and we played them very close down there. I believe lost by 4. We're right with them on their floor. They have some outstanding players.
Well, the Arlen girl was the preseason player of the year. Their post player, Mara Helly, or Jelly, is just a real nice player. But then they've got all the complementary players. They stubbed their toe the one game up at Concordia, but Concordia is such a hot team that was, hard to almost throw that into the equation. But they're very good, and we're going to have to be also very good to win.
Well, it's the home stretch here. The Vikings are still scratching, trying to get a home floor. Don't know if that's going to happen the first round of the playoffs, but, we're going to have some more games, Dave.
Yeah, and, had we won, either at Northern or Mary, then we really would have had a much more legitimate opportunity to eke into the top 4 spots and get a first round home game in the conference tournament. It's an outside shot now, but when you look, the teams that we are battling with, I mean, they've got the Bemidji's and Upper Iowa's on their schedule the last couple of weeks. So it just doesn't look like, it could happen, and we just have to take them one at a time, I guess.
Yep. All right. Well, Dave, let's get back on track and go after Wayne State on Saturday.
All right, Bill.
Up next, Augie Sports Focus. Stay with us.
Uber fan here, and this is my sportscaster audition. Today in Today in local sports. Today in local sports. Today in local sports, and that's the news. I'm missing a page. Today in local sports. It's too loud. Okay. Uber fan for Midcoast Sportsnet. Every key matchup, every local rivalry, only on Mid-Continent, coming at you live. Baby. This is harder than it looks.
At Schoenemann's, our staff's expertise goes far beyond hardware. In fact, we know just how important your home is to you and are committed to making every project a success. So, whether you're just adding some color to your life or adding on for your growing family, Schoenemann's can help. Sure, we know you can pick up nails just about anywhere, but when it's expert advice you need, you'll find it only at Schoenemann's.
You can always do it right with Schoenemann's.
Augustana Sports Focus is brought to you by Schoenemann's.
Joining me now is Augustana baseball coach Tim Huber. Tim, great to have you back on Augustana Sportscene. It is February. As we film this, the sunshine is out there, it's melting, and the palms are getting sweaty for the baseball coach. So it's baseball season, and the Vikings actually this coming weekend kickoff play out in Colorado against Colorado School of Mines. It's been a long winter here, Tim. You're ready to play.
Yeah, we are. The gym is getting old in a hurry, and I'm ready. Our guys are ready to get outside and tee it up and see how it goes. And we'll see. It'll be interesting, but we're looking forward to getting out there.
Yeah, and you're pretty optimistic that you'll play those games?
We are. They've got some snow on their field right now, but the weather forecast looks good to clear everything off, and I don't think we'll have a problem with it.
Yeah, so that'll be wonderful. So that's 2 doubleheaders out there, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then after that, the Vikings move on into more baseball, and kind of interesting this year with the collapse of the Metrodome roof in Minneapolis. Augie and many other teams, most teams in the upper Midwest played baseball games in there, and that's kind of throwing a wrench into things.
Yeah, we lost 4 games up there, which was a lot better than some others. Some teams lost 10, 12 games. So we rescheduled with Nebraska Omaha. We wanted to play them this year. I think this is a good year for us to play them. And so we rescheduled that same weekend, the 25th, 26th of February, down in Topeka, Kansas, and they've got a turf infield. And so I think that will be good to go there, and just got all the details on that here yesterday. So that'll be a good weekend.
Yeah, and the Vikings, of course, have been going through the winter months here. And for those of you who don't know, when we moved into the Hall football complex here, we renovated the old football building into a baseball, softball facility, and it's been a wonderful thing for you, Tim.
It's awesome. I can't imagine doing our stuff if everything was in the Elman Center and working around all these sports. And yeah, having the cages in there, we do all our live hitting and pitchers, it's great. It's a great spot to have.
Yeah, and a wonderful training facility. So get the jump on the spring. Well, Tim, let's talk a little about the team. You know, we know you have a lot of experience coming back and are very optimistic. I believe we're picked 4th in the NSIC preseason poll. Talk about the leaders on your team.
Yep. This will be an interesting year. We're old this year, which is nice, especially position-wise. We named some captains this year. Our senior captains are Nate Bauman, who's returning All-American, returning Conference Player of the Year. He's a heck of a player. I mean, Nate's talented. He plays right field for us. We have Charlie Dunoski, who's also a senior, led us in home runs. He'll play third base and first base. Drew Heidoff came off a summer where he led the Northwoods League in batting average, which is unheard of for a Division II player to do, and he'll man second base for us. And then we have Derek Marks, is not a captain, but he's one of our also returning All-Americans, shortstop. He's going to pitch this year. And then our closer at the end of games, Brett Sievertson. He's 2 years in a row. We dropped him down sidearm a few years ago, and he's been nails at the end of games, so he's pretty tough. And so those are kind of our core guys returning. Another senior that will start for us. Actually, there's two other seniors. Gates Cook has had a great winter. He's done really, really well. He'll play left field. And then we have a senior catcher, Nate Olfson, who's healthier this year. He's not healthy, but his knees are better. He'll catch, and looking for some big things from him also. So those are kind of our bulk of our senior pitching staff.
Okay, and then obviously those of us who've watched baseball for a while up in this country, at any level pitching is important, but it seems like in college baseball you need to be really deep with the doubleheaders coming behind each other so much.
Yeah, we had looked at the numbers the other day. We talked to recruits about this. We started. We're not afraid to pitch freshmen, but you don't like to do it. We started 32 games with freshmen on the mound last year, and it was interesting. Is probably the best way to say it. They're better. They're more experienced. Our starting pitchers are going to be sophomores this year, and there's going to be a bunch of them in the mix. Derek Marks, like I said, he pitched in relief last year. He's just a gamer. He's going to go from shortstop to pitch probably once a weekend, and we like him in that role. And but guys like Tyson Gow, Derek Hansen, Grant Larson pitched some big innings for us last year. He's going to be in the mix. Bennett Johnson's had a good winter. Kai Winter is a transfer guy, also a sophomore for us, who's been really good. You go on and on. Patty Carroll, if he's healthy, we think has a chance to really help us. Sam Gotham, if he can figure out a couple things. Those guys are all sophomores, and there's a lot of people there on the mound, and we'll see how it works out, but we kind of like our depth.
Yeah, that's great to have, and we look forward to watching them out there. The league, we mentioned being picked 4th, the Northern Sun, a very tough baseball league with some traditional powers, and they're back in the mix. But what do you look for from the conference?
Well, it's interesting because we're old. People know that. That's why we've bumped up in the standings in the preseason stuff this year. I think people know we're returning some talented players. Winona State is very similar to us. They return almost everyone. I actually was the only coach that picked them to win the conference this year. I think looking at their schedule and what they have back, they're going to be pretty good and surprise some teams. Mankato's been good every year, went to the World Series last year, and they'll be tough. And then St. Cloud State is extremely talented and getting better up there as well. So those 3 teams are who's ahead of us, and it's going to be a dogfight to see who ends up out of that mix. And then you've got a couple other, Wayne State, Southwest Minnesota State, Concordia. There's a couple others that are really talented also. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, Tim, for those folks out there who don't know, baseball here, very popular program. How many players in the program? And you have JV also.
We do. We've got 43 guys right now. Like our numbers where we're at. Our JV team will play 15 to 20 games a year. I think we're at about 14 right now, and that always gets added a couple as the year goes on, and gives our freshmen a chance to play, gives our sophomores that aren't quite ready a chance to play, and we've really put a big emphasis on it the last couple years, and it's been very positive in recruiting and for our guys. We want them to be involved and be part of something. So.
Yeah. Well, it's been great, and Tim and his staff do a tremendous job here and have made some improvements to the field, as people have seen, and maybe there'll be some more down the road here for Augie baseball. But hopefully, yes. Just to kind of close things down here, Tim, when do we open up at home, and when, hopefully with the weather cooperating?
Yep. We play March 26th, 27th at home against Minnesota Crookston. Haven't been one of the best teams in the league, but we'll see how it goes this year. We want to play games early on, and anytime you miss games, it changes how the conference plays out. So we'll try to do everything we can to get our field ready and get out there and play.
Well, Tim, we're looking forward to baseball season, so good luck to you and the Vikings.
Thanks, Bill.
The Augustana Sports Calendar is next. We'll be right back.
With every click of a LifeTouch camera, a school memory is captured. Education benefits. And children are safer. LifeTouch School Portraits. Great things come from great pictures.
I want back in the game. I want to rise above the pain. I want the best Ducks to have my back. Sanford Ducks, so I can shatter backboards, shatter records. I want MVP. I want everything. But first, I want back in the game.
Get stronger, play smarter. Return to performance. Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
The Augustana Sports Calendar is brought to you by Sanford Health.
Let's take a look at the Augustana Sports Calendar for this week. Saturday, February 19th, basketball, big doubleheader at home against Wayne State. The women tip off at 4, followed by the men at 6 at the Elman Center. Indoor track is at the Iowa State Invitational in Ames. Baseball starts their season with a doubleheader at the Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. And women's tennis plays Minnesota State Moorhead at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. Sunday, February 20th, baseball, another doubleheader at Colorado School of Mines, and women's tennis continues play against Winona State and Upper Iowa in the Twin Cities. Monday, February 21st, it's the Augustana Coaches Show on ESPN 99.1 at 5 o'clock. And then Wednesday and Thursday, February 23rd and 24th, we'll have Augustana Sportscene back here on this channel at this same time. And remember, for radio coverage of Augustana men's basketball, you can hear the Vikings on KIKN FM 100.5 and worldwide at KIKN.com. And the Augustana women can be heard on KXRB AM 1000 and worldwide at KXRB.com. And for complete information on Augustana athletics, go to our website, goaugie.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me again next time for another edition of Augustana Sportscene. Have a great week, everybody.
You've been watching Augustana Sportscene, a weekly update on NCAA Division II athletics at South Dakota's largest private college. Learn more about Augustana College in Sioux Falls at augie.edu.